Sunrise Beach Fire Protection District regular meeting for January 21st, and I gotta tell you, I'm kind of rushing it here. Let's all rise real quick here. And have to say our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now a moment of silence for our fallen troops and firefighters and friends and Martin Luther King Jr. May God rest their souls. Okay. Here we go. Regular meeting for January 21st. I'd like to make a motion to, we're going to amend the agenda. We have a representative from Summit Natural Gas, Terry, and we're going to get him right up and out because I think you got to go do something, don't you?
I got another meeting yesterday.
You got some ribs on the grill, or
Yes.
what's going on? And they got something going too. So could we amend that to?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd move that we amend the agenda to reflect the change of starting time to 6 p.m. and that we adjust Summit Natural Gas presentation to proceed now.
Okay. Do we have a
Charles?
something on that? Okay, thank you. So I doubt if we have any public comment. Let's, Terry, will you go ahead and your presentation?
Well, I'm Terry Harris. I'm with Summit Natural Gas, and you know the word is we're coming. Well, now we're here. We go live with gas Wednesday between mid-morning, and that is what we call Schedule C, and we're just going to move down 5 all the way around, and then we'll go across in. We are experiencing great turnout. The response has been real good. People have been very subjective and open and greeted us well, and it's been really good. So it's real simple with what we're doing, because what we're doing up to a certain amount of footage is free. Everything that goes along with that up to the point of actually having gas is free. We'll run the service line, do the conversions, pressure check, make sure it's safe, good to go, hook you up to the meter. We do that for free. At that point, you'll have a $15 a month meter fee, and then whatever gas you use. We come out, there's 5 of us doing my job, but we come out to the location, whether it be a house or business, and we map out how we plan on getting that service line to you. We try to take into consideration some of your better wishes, as well as sometimes that doesn't mean nothing, as it were. We have a little bit of a philosophy that we try to do the simplest way possible. We try to shoot a straight line. Almost everything we'll do on site is bored. If we have any chance to trench, we will. It's fast, it's easy, it's cheap. But we're going to, residentially speaking, we'll bore like if we were coming to this building, we would bore to it. Therefore, the mess that we're going to make is going to be minimized, because whatever mess we make, we're going to clean up. We're not going to do it that day. We're going to do it probably at the end of that week. All of our dig is being done by subcontractors. We currently have 5 inspectors that are checking basically everything that needs to be checked, and then we're hiring 6 more in February. The project's going, we're ahead of schedule. Got a little bit behind there for a little while. June, July, ground was a little bit hard, and our first under the lake bore is almost complete. We're almost out at Niagara Bridge, and we'll go from that bridge to Hurricane Deck, and then we'll go to the community bridge. For you guys, covering everything basically where you are, we are, so to speak. So we're doing 2 loops, going all the way through Camden, Lynn Creek, and up Osage Beach, and we're also going across the MM. The fastest way to find out if we're coming to your house, if you don't know for sure, is call us. You call the office. I'm going to leave some cards here. Most of what we do is just questions and answers, because every household, every commercial application has a different question. Generally speaking, they're all relatively the same, but it's pretty simple, as far as the way we look at it. But this time, if there are any questions, I'd be glad to answer any and all of them, because what we're doing really is pretty simple. You either want us or you don't. It's not force-fed. you know. It is just, if you want us, we'll come to you if we're mapped in that area. We're gonna stick around, we've signed franchise agreements with each city, so we're gonna maintain our own system. So we're also gonna grow that system. So what may not be there, like at your house that we discussed, now, we may be there in a year or two. We're gonna do a lot of adding and subtracting. With the fire stations in mind, I had told Betty early on, a couple months ago, when we first tried to get to the meeting, that we were gonna cover every firehouse that was there. Well, I discovered that we're not going to Sellers. If it is a winner takes all type of thing, maybe we can figure out a way. But the problem is, as we come up Hurricane Deck Bridge, we jump back under the road and go over to the High Line easement, bypassing that big hook on 5 to get to Greenview. There's no service there, there's nothing going to be there, there's no real positive growth that's gonna happen, so it's a lot easier and less expensive for us to get on the High Line to get to Greenview. And once we get to Greenview, then we're splitting off, going 7 to EE and back down 5. We'll go down to the Niagara Bridge, where we are now coming out, and we'll jump, once we get under the bridge, under the lake, I should say, we'll get on Old 5, and we're gonna stay on Old 5 all the way to Camden. Because apparently there's been some agreements made with MoDOT, the cities, and different things, that there's not gonna be any development on New 5. It's all gonna stay up on Old 5, so that's where we wanna be. So that's how that is, other than any other firehouses and stations that you have, we are covering the rest of it. It is, go ahead, please.
So you are going down F road?
Yeah.
F highway?
Yeah, we're not going down all of them at F Highway, but we're going down, Four Waters Drive, Sackweed, what's the cut through, Shrub, can't remember that one. You get a lot of it. I'm not really from here, I've been around here most of my life, but I'm not really from here, so most everybody still goes by F5, F8, you know. We GPS everything, cause like this morning I was sitting at Bella Terra, I got a phone call to go to Greenview. Well, before I got finished there, I got an email to go to Sunrise Beach, so it's easy for me to GPS. What's the road name?
I was thinking Oak Bend.
I'm sorry?
Oak Bend?
No.
F12.
Oh, F12, yes, I'm sorry, we are going to F12.
F10?
F10, not going to F8. Because the big thing that we wanted to get down there, he didn't want us. He's from Chicago, sorry, anybody. He didn't want us. I know Frank personally, so I can say that. He's a cantankerous fella, love him to death, but he didn't want our business, and he was the
Okay.
primary reason we were even thinking about going down there. If you look at it from our perspective, it's a business concept. We might go 2 miles to get to where we're going, but when we get there, there's probably 150 homes. We won't go 2 miles to get a house. I took 900 and something feet off of the map the other day over behind Woodrow's. I'm taking that line over to Port Chima, because it had 12 homes within 1,000 feet that wanted us. I had one house where this was mapped out by engineers. We make adjustments every day. When corporate calls and says you gotta get rid of 10,000 feet, we get rid of 10,000 feet and find it. So we're constantly, I hate the word evolving, but that's what we're doing. Because like in front of his shop, we're gonna set up our bore rig at Hurricane Deck, and we're gonna be sitting in front, basically in front of that for probably about 40 days. We're gonna bore that out at that point. You know, so then we're gonna go back in, all in and around through those 3 fingers and subdivisions. A lot of homes in there that have currently propane. Yes, ma'am.
What is your current usage rate?
The cost,
Yeah.
it's equivalent to $1.25. The bill will read $1.37, but the
Okay.
difference between natural gas and propane, the BTU count, equal units of measure. Natural gas is 100,000 BTUs, and propane's 91,600. So that's why you'll see the difference. When you take the 2 units of measure, they're equal, but the BTU count's different. So that's the equivalence. And that's residentially, I apologize. Commercially, it's $1.30.
$1.30?
Yes, ma'am. And I never did figure out why we're charging more for commercial, because we're using more.
And fire districts are gonna be considered 30,
Yes, ma'am.
$1.30
Yes, ma'am.
commercial?
Unfortunately, we have 2 blankets, residential and commercial, except for high volume. If you're considered high volume over 3,000 gallons, your meter fee goes to $100. Because that meter now just got about that big. Standard meters about the size of my notebook. When we get into those supersized meters, we have to go up on the meter fee. The gas is still $1.30. Yes,
You were talking about going line with gas,
Mhm.
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
How, to where?
Beach, South Laurie.
Okay,
Schedule C runs down to, that's what that is, runs down to basically the post office on 5. That's the
Okay.
bottom end of Schedule C,
okay. So the gas is coming in from the north side?
coming in from Windsor, Missouri,
Okay, okay.
via Oklahoma.
Okay.
We're a distribution company, we don't drill, we strictly distribute.
How do you maintain pressure and flow on that much line? And that's what, 4 or 6 inch line?
Well, we're running, like under the lake, it's a 6-inch, we brought it in on an 8-inch, we've got about, we're gonna have 9, 10 stations to maintain a level of pressure, then we got one compressor sitting on the highway. That can maintain the whole system. If we have an influx, by the time we get over to Osage Beach, we have a location already found to put another compressor in. Hopefully, in the next 10 years, we'll have a system where we can charge vehicles. Because they're talking, especially for us, to me, kind of makes sense. Yeah, it's $1.7 million to put in a gas station. But it is coming. Corporate has promised that. The benefit is, in the last few years, JP Morgan bought us, which kind of makes our petty cash flow pretty nice. That's why we all drive brand new trucks. A couple years ago, we didn't drive brand new trucks. So it's, they're sparing little to no expense to do this right, to do this safe, to do this modernized as possible. The biggest push with corporate is to make the largest carbon imprint we can make. We're doing everything we can to make a big carbon imprint. Everything that we're using to put the line in is made here in the United States. All the pipe is guaranteed made in the United States. We won't buy it anyplace else. We're just now, because of fracking, gonna start selling gas out of the country. Kind of revived Oklahoma. They now have a different set of income.
And why weren't you gonna go down Sellers Road?
It's 1.9 miles before we hit our first home. And then the guys that did the survey didn't go to that condo unit back there, which that entire condo unit, which is off the point that you can see from the bridge, that entire condo unit is propane. That's my area, so I'm trying to sell it, so I'm really trying very hard to get that, let alone like you guys, right there. But they used 12,000 gallons of propane last year.
What type of contractual program do you, I assume you go, people are on an annual contractual, is once they sign up, they're there?
It's kind of funny, it's really not, because you have 2 ways that you can get out of that, okay? First off, you have, sorry, my cough and I look funny, I cracked my ribs. Shouldn't be roller skating. We have an application that you sign giving us permission to come onto your property, or your premises, whichever commercial or residential. And with that, we're asking that you allow us to hook you up to natural gas in an appropriate amount of time. The state's 30 days, but those contracts were written in Colorado, and they didn't know that most people don't live here every 30 days. So we make an adjustment to that. At that point, if our service is less than what you would ask it to be, or what you expected, or if it's something that maybe a service line representative like myself told you something that was not true, you can call and get a disconnect. People are asking, what do I do with my propane tank? Leave it there. You have an option. I don't like to do anything without options, and I'm representing Summit Natural Gas in the honest way as I can, but I don't like to not have options. It's not that propane companies are gonna leave. There's gonna be a few of them probably, they always have, but you can get out of that by a phone call.
Well,
Because-
usually the commercial accounts, the propane tanks are theirs, so it doesn't
Correct.
matter,
Correct.
yeah.
In almost all cases.
Mhm.
We were talking about, Chief and I were talking about generators, different things, like the one on TT is propane, it's LP, that's an easily converted deal. They've told us that most applications, fossil fuel can be converted to, but I think this one's diesel, is what they understood. I'm gonna find out 100% to know for sure, and get back with him on that, so that, you know what your options are there. Safety-wise, if you don't know, natural gas is considerably safer. It's got a much lower ignition rate. Therefore, it takes quite a bit more for it to spark and arc. It's lighter than air, so it's safer in the homes and the buildings. It dissipates, it's not heavy, and it also has about 2,200 parts per million less call it trash, that has to be burnt, you know, than propane. Sulfur content's incredibly low. We're able to go into any pipe system that's pressurized except for galvanized. Well, before, when we first got here, they were trying to maintain the level of not being able to go into copper, and because of fracking, sulfur content's dropped about 60%, so therefore it's much safer, much cleaner. So you're burning most of your fuel as opposed to trash that you're still paying for.
Well, what's the reason for not using galvanized or not being able to accommodate galvanized pipe?
Because all galvanized nowadays is made in flakes, so that's composite, so to speak. And what happens is that flakes off with movement pressure. We've discovered that over the years. If you go back to about anything that you've ever used in the past, and you look down the nose of that galvanized pipe, it's all distorted inside because it's unbonded itself. And more than granted, we're under very, very low pressure in comparison. A 4-inch main's only carried about 60 pounds of pressure. The service line that goes to the house or the business is only gonna be about 6 pounds of pressure. But over time, that galvanized can deteriorate, and therefore plugging up different things and creating problems. Then it decreases the pressure.
For years, they only allowed galvanized pipe for gas line construction,
Correct.
unexposed area.
Correct. Yeah, it's, you know, I don't know if we're smarter, but we definitely think we are, so we've made changes.
Do you ever have any luck with the condos?
Still working on it. Still working on it. We've discovered so many things because I think when they sent the survey guys out from Middleton, Colorado, I think those guys thought they were on vacation. Honestly, we go places, we make an adjustment to the line every day. You know, and of course, they're back there doing their thing, and that's fine. But that's why we're here, you know, to make these adjustments and get to where we want to be, need to be, should be, you know, so. That's also why we did this franchise agreement, so we're gonna maintain it. Won't turn it over to a city.
Thank you.
That it? Tim, thank you for your time. With you guys involved, timing is a little bit of the issue for making a decision for the fire station. Not a major crucial deal. We know that you're a very strong consideration, and with your usage in the 4 locations, not counting cellars, just let us know as soon as possible. But I'm gonna pass up where you guys will have first. That way you can get a hold of me. If you have any questions, comments, thought process, I'll give you another.
Okay.
And then I'll leave some with you for anybody else.
All right,
Okay?
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay, and I'll find out about the generator.
Okay, without further ado, could we please have the secretary's report?
These are the minutes of the Board of Directors meeting December 17th, 2012. President Smithy called to order the regular session of the Board of Directors meeting at 5:30 p.m. President Smithy, Treasurer Blackwell, Secretary Heeman, and District Council Tom Marine were in attendance. Treasurer Blackwell made a motion and Secretary Heeman seconded the motion to adopt the agenda as published. The motion passed and roll call vote as follows: Smithy, yea; Heeman, yea; and Blackwell, yea. There were no public comments. Secretary Heeman read the Secretary's minutes from November 9, 2012 Board of Directors meeting. Treasurer Blackwell made a motion and President Smithy seconded the motion to accept the minutes as read. The motion passed and roll call vote as follows: Smithy, yea; Blackwell, yea; and Heeman, yea. Treasurer Blackwell read the Treasurer's report for November 2012 as published and filed for audit. Chief Riley presented the Chief's report to the Board of Directors. The attached information is the complete report. Treasurer Blackwell made a motion and Secretary Heeman seconded the motion to accept the Chief's report as read. The motion passed and roll call vote as follows: Smithy, yea; Blackwell, yea; and Heeman, yea. There was no old business. Under new business, Justin Vogel from Renovation Experts Construction made a presentation to the Board of Directors for a one-time variance of the 2006 International Residential Code for required guardrails. After a brief question and answer period, Treasurer Blackwell made a motion and Secretary Heeman seconded the motion to table the request and have Chief Fire Marshal Northcott do an amendment to the ordinance number 2006-02, omitting section R 312.2 on horizontal rails. Once the amendment is completed, the Board of Directors shall make a motion at the January board meeting. Motion passed and a roll call vote as follows: Smithy, yea; Heeman, yea; and Blackwell, yea. David from McGrath Insurance made a presentation to the Board of Directors regarding the 2013 employee health insurance. Once the presentation was completed, Secretary Heeman made a motion and Treasurer Blackwell seconded the motion to approve the continuation of employee health insurance with Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield with a 2.9% increase in rates for the year 2013. The motion passed and roll call vote as follows: Smithy, yea; Blackwell, yea; and Heeman, yea. Chief Riley presented the final 2012 budget adjustments to the Board of Directors. There were no questions from the board. Treasurer Blackwell made a motion and Secretary Heeman seconded the motion to approve the final 2012 budget adjustments. The motion passed and roll call vote as follows: Smithy, yea; Heeman, yea; and Blackwell, yea. Treasurer Blackwell made a motion and Secretary Heeman seconded the motion to close the regular session at 6:04 p.m. The motion passed and roll call vote as follows: Smithy, yea; Heeman, yea; and Blackwell, yea. Respectfully submitted, Robert Chambers.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the minutes as read.
Thank you so much, John. Now could we please have the treasurer's report?
Treasurer's report as of December 31st, 2012, beginning with the general ledger balance of $181,540.65. Showed cash receipts for that period of $207,592.46. Disbursements, cash of $58,376.46. Additional disbursement for that period were $31,228.69, giving us an ending bank balance of $300,593.78. During that period, we showed outstanding checks, the amount of $1,065.82, bringing the ending general ledger balance to $299,527.90.
Thank you, Betty Thomas. The treasurer's report for on, please. And to the chief's report, please.
Information. Three items in front of you. One of them, the first item is background information for the chief's report. There's something in here marked confidential that we will, when we move to closed session, we can discuss. And then there's an envelope marked work session, which I'm going to speak to in just a few minutes. First sheet in there is just for your information, something that came out on the internet today. Top 10 bosses of 2012 ranked number one top 10 bad boss in the country is a fire lieutenant in the Fairfax, Virginia Fire Department. This goes to show you that we do live in a very information age, and just behooves us to be aware of that. Yeah, I mean, it's, believe me, I haven't talked to any of my friends in Fairfax, but I can imagine what's going on right there. The chief's report is responded to 60 911 calls for the month of December 2012. It's brought our response total for the year 2012 to 744 responses. 2012 proved to be our busiest year, surpassing the previous record of 711 runs. The district members participated in 32 training events for a total of 142 staff hours in training for the month of December. I must take my hat off to everybody that had part of that, because we're talking about December. Busiest holiday month going, and people are coming up in training on a regular basis. The staff is doing training once and twice on the day. It's really a very significant number. During the year 2012, total training activity equaled 718 training events for over 3,000 hours in training, 3,047 hours in training. I'll be meeting with Captain Fuelman in the near future. We're going to lay that out against our ISO requirements to see exactly where we are. But it's a very positive sign. Just a real quick couple graphs I have for you. Our response analysis, the one that I do every month, the month of December, 55% of our runs were EMS related, 17% of runs were structure fires. Let's see, our alarm and investigations were 11%, and then we have our other categories, natural cover fires, motor vehicle accidents, and the miscellaneous category, which are public assist calls, assist police, traffic standbys, and the likes. I added to the chart that I gave you last month the December totals, so you have a 4-year look at our responses by month. Once again, I make the point that with the exception of October, which is just an anomaly, there's really no way to explain that, we really see ourselves as a 12-month service. We peak somewhat in summertime, but even in our off months, anywhere from 50 to 60 runs. Jamie did a really good job of putting a 10-year history up on the website and our blog, and if you go back into 2002, 2003, you'll see there was no activity in the off months, a little bit of spike in the summertime. So the very nature of the service that we provide is changing. And the last graph in there for your information is a breakdown by number of the call summary for 2012. Medical assist account for 344 runs for the entire year. We are really a little bit different than a lot of organizations that we see on the fire side. A lot of organizations that do EMS report anywhere from an 85 to a 95% run activity, all in EMS. We're not like that. We're about a 50-50 split. So we are somewhat different. And it's just, it pays us to know that, and it pays us to think about and plan for that. I'll call one or two other numbers to your attention. We had 69 natural cover fires and 54 structure fires report of in the year 2012. Now certainly they were not all working incidents, but you can see, the fire activity is up there. When you add motor vehicle accidents with and without injuries, there's another 39 incidents. So we're easily into that 150 range where they are really a traditional fire type response. Okay. I am requesting that the board set a work session for sometime in the week of February 4th. It has to do with those packets that I've given you. There are several significant policies that we need to address, along with recommendations for some long-term financial planning. And I think that it is probably in our best interest to schedule a work session sometime in the future, give everybody a chance to review the documents in front of you, and then we can come into a work session. We can answer our questions, amend the documents as needed, and then they can just go on the agenda for the February meeting and be adopted. So there's certainly some work to be done with those items, and I would leave that at the board's discretion. I'd say the week of February 4th is probably the best, but whatever fits the members. There are two lists of spare equipment. The first list is radios, and the next list is nozzles. We've inventoried, this is really spare stuff. This is stuff that we've had sitting in cabinets for years, and all it's doing is collecting dust. I would request that the board declare those as surplus and authorize me to dispose of those in a means that is best for the district. And quite honestly, we're going to turn around and try to sell this equipment. There's some radio stuff that we think may be of interest to the ham, radio CB markets. There's not a lot we can do with it because none of it will narrow band, so we can't use it in public safety. And then there's some nozzles in there that we may very well be able to generate some income from other fire departments. We've looked at that inventory, weighed against what we're required to maintain our apparatus by ISO, and the list that you see in front of you is surplus equipment. In an effort to pursue greater transparency with the community, I'm talking about posting draft minutes of the board meetings on our website within 72 hours of the meeting. We can post them up in a draft format. They'll have a watermark that says draft on them. And we can have another page on the website that next month, when those minutes are adopted as final, they can be on another tab as final. We're also investigating, we got a video camera going right now, we're also investigating the possibility of maybe making the videos available to the public through our Facebook page. We could easily set up a YouTube channel. There are many different links. We may be able to make some inroads with public access, the public access channels for the local cable provider, but these are all things that are under investigation so that we can enhance the degree of transparency that we use, and I think it's just a wise thing in the year 2013. We've purchased an iPad for use by our field forces. In doing so, we've restructured our cell phone plan, which will result in the increased capability with the iPad and a monthly savings of $40. Including in your package and information is some information that speaks to it, copies of the bills before and after. Our original cell phone plan was at $245.74 a month. With including a data package, restructuring the plan, we were able to reduce our monthly cell phone bill to $203.52 a month, and we're constantly looking at that. I have one or two other suggestions that we may entertain within the next month or two that could give us additional savings. Let me speak about the iPad real quick. The whole iPad project all came about from a response that we had in Morgan County. Our district in Morgan County has a difficult time finding the location. Street signs are down. It was a real problem. The best information we get from dispatch is go into Morgan County, make the first right-hand turn where there's no sign that says that you're in Morgan County, and once you're in Morgan County, there are no street signs. So we started doing some research, and we set a performance criteria that we wanted a means that would provide us portal-to-portal directions from where the device was located to the scene of the incident in 98% of the time. So we got the iPad, we put an ECM app on it, which is a free app. We bought the Garmin app, and the chart that you have in front of you represents what we got. In 73% of the 44 reports submitted, the ECM application was able to give us a portal-to-portal from where the iPad physically sat to where the run was, and in real time it was able to track the process. In the runs that it was not able to do that, the Garmin app was able to provide those directions. The 9% that were not mapped were runs that were dispatched the intersection of 5 and F. They didn't bother putting that in because there was a clear direction. They knew exactly where they were going. One call, neither one of the apps was able to produce directions, and they had to revert back to the map book. So in the 44 runs, only one run out of the 44, we were not able to use that. And once again, we just defaulted back to the map book. We have map books. They work. The ability that the iPad gives is way head and shoulders above that. It's mounted on a swivel in the apparatus. The officer can see it. He can flip it over. The iPad corrects itself, and it gives you a real-time route and tracking. We've added the emergency response guidebook and Weather Channel apps. Both of these are free of charge, so now instead of having to thumb through a paper book, we have a queryable application for all of our hazardous materials, and we also have, we can get spot weather from the app in real time. Certainly a very significant capability when we get into wildland season. So that does, the iPad's giving that. The district training report has also been loaded onto the iPad, and we will move toward a paperless training attendance reporting with the iPad. Normally, anytime training is done, the duty crew is there. They've got the form. They can fill it out, hit send. It'll email to Betty's email, and we can reduce that hassle of paper. So that's the iPad. We've entered into a long-term agreement with another fire department for the loan of cold water emergency suits. They're sitting over on the table. If anybody wants to look at them, we purchased a few additional items. I've conducted training with all 3 of the platoons, and based on all these factors, I feel confident in saying we now have a first response life-saving capability for ice rescue incidents. If we get the ponds, if we get something frozen over, somebody goes through the ice, we have the means to go out there now. prior to, you know, the very best we could do was reach. With the suits and some of the other equipment we have, I feel very confident in being able to send somebody out if necessary.
How many suits did you say?
We have 2 of them. 2 of them on a long-term loan. Certainly, in long-term planning, we will look to maybe upgrade those. Those are our older model suits. They're in pretty good shape, but they're a little bit old. They do weep at the seams. There's another generation suit that's a lot nicer than that, but listen, if you gotta put something on, if it's 9 o'clock at night and it's 20 degrees out and there's somebody through the ice, that suit's gonna get you out there, it's gonna keep you dry, and it's gonna get you back in the shore. So I'm very appreciative to the department that worked with us on that. We continue to work through some previously approved equipment items. We've taken delivery of our job shirts and our sweatshirts. We've taken delivery of some new hand tools. We bought the supplies and we made the vehicle rescue window kit, like we talked about a couple months ago. The treadmill is here, the extra portable radios are here, they've been programmed, they're in the cache, they're all ready to go. We expect our new airbags and the additional 1 3/4 smoothbore nozzles that are on order to ship this week. I will also be meeting with Captain Wilson up on Wednesday to discuss the radio repeater situation and, you know, where we stand and what we can do. It's getting a little more complicated because there are 3 other agencies that are coming on the Lake Fire to be dispatched. So I can barely turn my radio on. I'm not a real tech guy. Captain Wilson has really got his hand, he's really got his thumb on the pulse of the entire radio picture here in the county and how things work and how things, you know, interoperate with each other. So I'm going to speak with him to see exactly where we are and where our best moves would be to address those issues.
Who are the 3 agencies that are new?
Kaufman Bend, Southwest, and Northwest, I believe. They're going to come on. They're going to come on and they're going to be dispatched on Lake Fire. Now, once they're dispatched, they're going to revert over to their working channel. But that just puts more activity over onto that Lake Fire band. So we have to, when we finally can really rest on this whole repeater issue, that's one of the questions too, is which channel should be repeated? Should we repeat our private channel or should it be Lake Fire? And everything is really starting to change. I sit in meetings about these regional communications plans, and it's getting much more complicated than it used to be. So I'll be meeting with him and then bring back that information to the board so we can keep that issue on the forefront until we can get to the point and make a good decision on it. I've issued John Baker a letter of appreciation for the outstanding job he did in the recent acquired garage project. A copy of that letter is within your packets. We've been working with the administration at Hurricane Deck School and the Sunrise Beach Police Department to update and validate the school's all-hazard consequence plan. The meetings are going well, work is progressing, and I'll keep the board updated. My last point is a meeting has been scheduled on the 31st of January at the Mid-County Fire Protection District headquarters to discuss the possible revision of the EMS dispatching protocols. There's some belief these protocols should be modified to avoid duplication of service and improve operational efficiency, and I believe that there is some room in those protocols that we should look at that. The meeting is going to be held with several fire districts, Camden County Communications, both the EMS providers and the EMS Communications supervisor from Springfield. So if there are changes to be made to the system, I will keep the board advised. The Fire Marshal's report. 1 required fire drill at the Hurricane Deck School this month. 5 residential and 1 commercial permits were reviewed. No permits were renewed. 5 residential rough-in inspections were done. 1 final residential was done. 1 commercial DNR burn permit was issued. The income this month, $15,580.22. That does not include the check we got from the Woods. Year-to-date income for that division, this does include that total, $35,938.71. That was projected, and we did a projected income in that division of $20,000. So we far exceeded our projected income. Year-to-date construction costs equal $14,495,235. There were no investigations, no fireworks permits or inspections. Year-to-date income on the fireworks side is $450. And for the month of December, 3 first-time dock inspections, 1 re-inspection, total of 4 inspections for the month of December. 11 permits were issued, and for the year, a total of 137 first-time inspections, 63 re-inspections, 40 hazardous condition calls. They're all clustered up in that summer period, especially from July through September. We have not done one of those since October. And a total of 171 permits were issued in the year. That concludes my report. I'd be more than happy to entertain any questions the board has. I do have one thing that I did leave off. We got notification from our insurance carrier that the sale of ladder 1217 saved us $900 on last year's insurance. We sold it, we were able to cancel that insurance, so we were able to take that money and funnel it into some of the other listed items that we're dealing with.
Do you have any, has there been any progress on the pagers for the volunteers?
Yes, they're here. They're here and issued.
Didn't hear about that.
Yes, they
Cell
are here
phone,
and
does
issued.
Chief Saltrop still have a cell phone?
What? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking, I wasn't really sure. Pages are here.
Snow
Very good.
removal.
Hmm?
Snow removal.
Yes,
5 days after the snow, the front of Station 1 was still in pretty rough shape considering we're across the street from the school. Can we-
yes, we can.
Okay. It looked kinda scary there the 5th day.
That will be addressed. Thank you.
Any other questions for the chief? Comments? Thank you, Chief Rowley. That was an excellent report. Do you have something?
Yes, he had requested that we give him the authorization to move forward on the surplus nozzles.
Okay, did you need a motion on that?
Yes, I will.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion to that effect.
Okay, second motion. And once again, thanks, Chief. Good job. And so let's move to some new business. And we have an audit proposal from Graves and Associates. We just need a motion to move ahead.
I would make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Discussion.
Can I get a second? Okay, thank you.
I think, as I review this, Graves has presented 2 options to you. Option 1 is for 1 year. Option 2 is for 3 years. The year 2012 audit price does not change. They just walked their price out for 2013 and 2014. I just think the board needs to be aware of that and specify which option you'd like to pursue.
Board?
Is there a reason not to go on it for 3 years?
Quite honestly, I really can't argue it one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
I would say, after the dialogue that we had with Graves last year about some of that boilerplate language,
Right.
and we really got to the point where that was resolved and settled. So it may be worth our while to stay with Graves, so that doesn't become, quite honestly, it doesn't become an issue, because if we go to a new auditor and they put that boilerplate language in there, it's only gonna have to be amended anyhow, so.
Okay, option 2, 3 years. Board?
That would be my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Can we? My question is I thought the board could only approve something up every 2 years. Because of the change of,
Potential change of member of the board.
yes.
Yes, I mean,
And I don't know, I mean, we've
Yeah,
had this brought up to us before.
Yeah, I can't really speak to that quite honestly. It would surprise me if they would, if they would advance a proposal that wasn't. But if the board chose, I think that they could adopt pending.
I think it has been done. You
Yeah.
guys have signed it through your
Yeah.
previously.
Trying to think of
I don't recall where that,
well, the comment that come up that you can't, well, yes, you can commit a board because of the rotation of personnel. Now, if you had a whole new board, I could see you'd have an issue,
right.
but we don't, so, no. I'll stay with my motion.
And I'll confirm that.
If for some reason there's a.
Yeah, if there's a reason that,
We can,
we'll just.
I can certainly
Great,
confirm
we'd
that.
be glad to
I can confirm that with
redraft that
council
one
too.
for us.
And if there is, then we can act on it for
Yeah,
that
that
going
would,
forward.
yeah.
yeah, I think so.
Noted as such then, and
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll second
Okay.
that, provided we're okay.
Thank you. Tom's not here. We got a 213 general retainer agreement. Any changes?
There is a change. He has changed his hourly rate. He has not had any changes for about the past 10 years.
Right.
So that is the only change that has been made.
Last year was 120?
Yeah, you upped it 10 bucks.
Yeah,
Was it 125?
Yep.
Mhm.
That's the only change?
Have signatures, however you decide to approve or,
Yeah,
Fourth?
I have no problem with it.
Fine by me, sign.
there's also,
Make a motion to approve it then.
okay,
Second? Second?
this, he did, just a.
Oh,
did you?
I'm just gonna need a signature on the PO and also the check I've already done, so if you wanna sign the check.
I'll make that a PO sign, too.
Yes, I have PO signed to it, yes. Yes.
Okay, next is the amended ordinance. Anybody want to read it or go over it?
I'll speak to the issue real quick. I've talked with counsel, he's reviewed this. It's within the parameters of the law, and it is right in tune with what we discussed in previous meetings. The verbiage, quite clear, is horizontal guardrails shall be allowed in 1 and 2 family dwellings of no more than 2 stories. And I think that's a reasonable approach to take in conversations with council. I mean, he thinks that's defendable and it does not cause any problems for us. I think and I do agree with him, I think there would be problems in, an 8 or 9 story condo to allow horizontal railings as such. But I think in the application, 1 or 2 story single family dwellings, I have no problem with it. And it is within the verbiage of the code now.
It is, okay.
Yes, it is.
Thanks, Chief. Do we have a motion? Thank you.
Second.
You need 3 signatures on that ordinance, please.
monthly board meeting, to Wednesday.
Seeing how Tom is not here, and, you know, I would like everybody to be at one place and discuss this issue, so we can, you know, find a date that's gonna meet everybody's needs. And I apologize for the confusion with this meeting, I mean, that's on me, it's, you know, I had a lot of emails going out, and whatever confusion rests totally with me. I would ask that the board schedule the February meeting for Wednesday the 20th at 6 p.m. And then we can discuss at that meeting a permanent date, be it Wednesday, Tuesday, so that we can just get in everybody's schedule, so that everybody is, you know, able to be here for the entire meeting.
Wednesday, February 20th at 1800.
Yes. And then the permanent date will be set based on the majority.
I think Wednesdays will work great for everyone, and I think especially for Tom, because it won't conflict with his gravel or fire.
Yes.
meeting.
Well, those are issues that
Yeah.
everybody should, you know, speak to on their own behalf. Myself, quite honestly, Mondays, I would like to see a shift away from Mondays because that is our department training night. And I feel that my presence is fairly important there.
I think it's a good change. Ready?
That's fine. I have no problem.
Can I track the board back to the request for a work session on that week? And
You should, absolutely.
if the board would,
On the week, February 4th.
the week of February 4th, I mean, once again, avoiding Monday, any other day that week?
I think so, I don't have my calendar with me tonight, but yeah, I think for me, we could, what time of day would you need to do?
Any time from 6 o'clock in the morning until about 10 o'clock at night. But the board pick whatever's gonna work best for them. This is far enough in the future where I can make sure that my schedule can present any conflicts.
Okay. What's the date on a Wednesday during that week? Sixth, is that what that was?
It'd be the 6th.
Sixth. How does the sixth sound? Sixth is sixth.
That's fine by me. I mean, like I said,
At 6,
How does that sound?
6 in the evening?
Yeah.
Yeah. That works for me.
Yeah.
You can have it earlier if you want.
Fine.
5's fine. Anything before 3 o'clock on any day of any time of any year,
stay
I
away from.
can't be there. Because I have to keep myself open until 3 o'clock for the government.
Sure,
So, the sixth at 5.
very good. 6th of February, Wednesday at 1700 hours. Thank you very
Please
much.
send an email blast to remind me of that.
Yes, I can,
Thank you.
because I will go in there to put it on my calendar as soon as we're done, so I don't forget it, which is a good possibility.
You need a motion to change the meetings.
Yes, sir, we do.
Well, it's just for this month.
Yeah, we're
Next
just
month.
changing for next month, and then at next
don't
month's
do
meeting,
that.
then you'll make a
It's just
motion as to
for the-
when you
for
want to put.
Create a standard time that we always do.
Okay.
Right.
As long as we're in agreement, I think we're fine, do whatever we post.
I can make notification, and then, like I said, we can settle the issue permanently at the February meeting when everybody's here.
Okay.
And I will send a notice out for the special meeting, and I will send a notice out for the February meeting with the change from Monday to Wednesday, just so everybody has it.
Very good.